Hey everybody, welcome to Popular Unknown Paintball Live, and this is episode 5 of my official live show. And I'm very excited today because I get to catch up with some of my old friends, and that is Donna and Steve Langman, and they are the owners of Wasaga Beach Paintball, or Wasaga Paintball, I should say, in Ontario, Canada. And they are one of the oldest and most respected paintball fields in Canada. Now, they're an institution here in Ontario, but I know a lot of Americans that loved coming up and playing at the Canadian International Open. So anyway, let's get them on and let them tell you about it more because they're the experts. Hey, Donna.
Hey.
Hey, Steve. Oh, and actually, I forgot to mention it earlier. I got to mention it now. We also have William MacDonald, and he is the longtime Red Captain of the big games that you guys host. And glad to have you on too, Willie.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad to have you all here. So before we really get rolling, when did Wasaga? Now it's called Wasaga Paintball, not Wasaga Beach Paintball, correct?
Well, Wasaga Beach Paintball Adventure is our full name. But you know, when we phone, it's like Wasaga Paintball, or we go somewhere, Wasaga Paintball.
Fair enough.
It's too long the other way.
Yeah, fair enough. So when exactly did you guys start?
1993.
93? Okay.
Sorry, we got married in 93. So 1992. I'll let you start to this part.
We opened on June the 6th, 1992. We were shooting for the Labor Day weekend, but we couldn't make it. So we made June 6th. So yeah, so that's when we started. 20 years ago.
Right. Now, when I played at your field, I was always playing underneath the water tower. So you guys have moved since then, correct?
Yeah. So in 92 we started across from the arena under the water tower, and then we were there for 12 years. Then in 04 we moved. I bought a piece of land about a mile away, as the crow flies, and the land used to belong to my great grandfather.
Oh, so cool!
He died in '56.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, he was 85 years old.
Yeah, he lived a long life.
So he never could drive. He was into horses, so he kind of made his living going around with his horses.
Right.
He would go around with his horses in the spring, offering up stud services. Then in the fall he would go around and hopefully he would get some money if the mare produced a kid, a calf, a colt. Sorry.
Right.
So anyways, he died in '56, and my grandfather was an executor, and he sold the farm in '57 to the Ainsley family. Then the Ainsley family sold it to us in the December of '02. Then '03, I went nuts in the woods, cutting trees and burning, doing all kinds of stuff. Then we hired a guy to build the building. So then he started the building in the spring of '04, and on Thanksgiving weekend of '04 we opened up at the new location. Yeah, so it was quite the adventure. So we've been
Go ahead.
We've been at the new location now since '04.
18 years?
18? No,
16 years.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we need a new roof.
So we didn't own that property that was water tower. So, yes, Gary, you have to get up to Canada one day. You don't know what you're missing.
Now, Gary actually is... he's from the New York, New Jersey area. Don't quote me on that. And he is a longtime ref, and he's doing a paintball media thing himself. If Gary wants to chime in a little bit to give specifics, but he's a cool guy, and he's a very, very old school paintballer, and I love talking to him when I get the opportunity. He's going to be on the podcast eventually.
He looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, his little chap up looks cool.
We have a lot of New Yorkers come to our field, actually.
Yeah.
Especially in the beach blitz days, we had teams from New York and all over North America really came.
Right.
From
well, at this beach blitz, that was 99. and I was playing with Twilight Zone out of Michigan.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
We had lots of teams from the States.
Yeah, at the beach place, we had a few referee squads that came from the States, from Florida and from New York. Lots of refs from the States.
Yeah. What else do you have there, Steve?
Oh, I'll show you. By the way, Gary said he's from the Paintball Press. That's his thing. So give him a quick shout out while we can. So this is from the year before, and this is Beach Blitz 98.
I have one of those.
Yeah. I played for the Mohican Mad Dogs in that game, and that was the Boa Barrels factory team. So I was playing with Dale and all of them, and you'll actually hear me talk about that tournament a lot because hands down of my whole paintball experience, that weekend was my absolute favorite paintball tournament that I've ever played ever. That was, yeah, because I will never forget as long as I live. I've said it a million times, but you guys are going to have to just bear with me one more time. The guys from Boa called me up and said, "Can you play?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm supposed to be going to the cottage with my girlfriend." And they're like, "The first 25 cases of paint are paid for. Your hotel's paid for. Your entry's paid for. Get your ass to Wasaga." And I'm like, "All right."
Nice.
One of the first games we played, it was in the woods. We had to get to the top of a hill, and I charged up, and the other team hadn't made any of their bunkers, and I just cut them down like wheat, and we won the game in like a minute or something, and it was hands down my favorite paintball tournament experience ever.
The glory days.
Yes, it was. So, but yeah.
So I remember Boa Barrels. Were they out of Ohio?
I believe so. It was owned by Dale. I forget Dale's last name off the top of my head. But you guys used to use a lot of his gear because you guys used to have all Automags as rentals, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, we had 25 of them. So we did have Automag, and we ran them on HPA too.
Right.
So they really didn't work on CO2.
No, they not as well as they could. No.
No way.
And so Willie Mac. I don't want to I mean, I'm catching up with old friends. I don't want you to feel like you're left out, my friend. So
no. When I came into the paintball scene was in the summer of '97. So this was like just before like the Beach Blitz and things were going on at that point. I was invited to a birthday party. So that was my first experience ever trying this, and this was at the old field, right underneath the water tower. And
How old were you?
I remember.
How old were you?
I would have been. See here, some quick math. I would have been 13. 13. Yeah, like. So I remember when I'm signing the waiver and be like, okay, well, I'm going to sit in the waiting room. So I got a chance to go out and have a lot of fun. Yeah.
I got to interrupt for 1 second. I'm guessing it doesn't show, but I'm guessing this is my old teammate, Bobby Doust. Because
I'm sure it is too.
Yeah. So, hey, Bobby. Bobby is one of my teammates on the Booney Boys, which is, if you're from Ontario, you know who the Booney Boys are. And glad to have you watching, Bob.
I actually haven't Bobby on the speedball fields.
In a bikini.
And
he had a bikini.
And he had the big cat in the hat on too.
Yeah. Well,
remember the bikini.
You can't hit what they can't look at.
So how long have you been playing again? Billy, sorry to interrupt you, but playing paintball, a tournament paintball in a bikini kind of tell stories.
Well, I've played every year since '97. Like whether it's been like little bits in here from rec ball, like I said, when I went out for that birthday party, like all it took was for me to play bus one time and go down into the valley and just get 2 or 3 people from hiding in a concrete like tunnel. Like I was like, I'm hooked. This is so much fun. So it doesn't feel like it's been that long, but I guess it has with when you turn around, you got white hair all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm afraid to look at that. Oh, Bobby, we don't want to know.
I had to share that.
Like I remember like playing when the autocockers first came into the scene, and like see like that noise that it makes. Yeah, that like when you hear that, that's like for those that know, like back in the ag days, like that's a thing. Like the hair still stands up on my neck. Like yeah.
My brother has a saying about autocockers. He goes, "There's only two things that sound like that in the whole world: autocockers and bed springs. Either way, you know you're getting."
We'll leave it at that.
Exactly. That's that is my brother for you. So
We different rental equipment. We had quite a few that we used on our field, and I wish we had kept one of each one of them. We'd have this great museum now, but we didn't. We recycled them all and whatever. But bring back Wasaga 10-man.
Yeah.
That was a good event. On the Friday, we did a Beach Blitz. We did the 10-man event on the Friday, and then we did 5-man on the Saturday, and then we did the finals on the Sunday. And we always had our players party on, was it the Saturday night? I guess we had the players.
Yeah, it was usually Saturday night.
Yeah.
That I remember.
So it was a full weekend for sure. But yeah, we had quite a few teams that played in the 10-man too. But at one year we had 54 5-man teams come for Beach Blitz.
One year I had a players party. Gino Peroni from Champions, he did lobster. So our friend built a great big fancy boiling pot, like a
huge.
major boiling pot. So then we cooked lobster, and Gino had brought the lobster in.
Like they flew in that day. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Hundreds of lobster.
Sweet.
I think it was for
it might have been our 10th anniversary.
Yeah,
I don't remember, but yeah.
Gino, if you're out there, let us know. I'm sure it's our 10th anniversary.
Maybe. And then we had some cool sponsors. So Zap one year, one of the cool things they did was we got coolers for everybody that they could fit a case of paint into it, and it was a Zap cooler. And
I still have one.
That year we gave away mugs with our emblem on it too. So we do have one. It's totally falling apart because we use it, but we still have mugs too. But
well, if you guys get the chance, don't hesitate to take. Can you tell I'm a professional? Don't hesitate to take a picture of it and send it. And I'd love to post a picture of these Zap coolers up on my page, because I have so many people that that follow me that like the nostalgic stuff, which is one of the reasons why I'm so happy to have you guys on, because the Canadian Amateur Open, or Beach Blitz, that was one of the premier tournaments in Canada for the longest time. I know I looked forward to it most years when it was coming out. I was so excited.
It was a lot of work.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I really feel like the Beach Blitz was what legitimized paintball in Canada. You know, paintball was just kind of some hobby backyard thing, you know, and then when we added this tournament and it became so popular and it brought in all these teams from all over North America, it just kind of made it a sport instead of just a hobby, right? So that was kind of the cool thing about the Beach Blitz Canadian National Amateur Open was legitimizing paintball in Canada. So it's kind of cool.
Now, do you think, I mean, I know it's a lot of work, but with the resurgence of mechanical paintball tournament series like the Iron City Classic and the ICPL, etc., do you think that Beach Blitz might make a comeback?
You know what? Probably not. And the reason is because other people are doing such a good job. Like really, Derek Welts, I'm impressed with what he's been doing with OPL, and now he's wanting to do the Classic. And I have to say, he is one of ours that we raised up at our field. So
right.
Derek play our Showdown Sundays.
Now, where is Derek doing his tournaments then?
So Derek is Ontario Paintball League, and he's doing
Kitchener.
I don't know, where is he? Most of the stuff he does in Kitchener.
Beach.
So the OPL, but the 10-man Classic, I think.
London,
oh no, it's down in London at Adrenaline.
Yeah.
That's where he's.
Yeah, Adrenaline. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're right. It is. You know, there is a distance there. Maybe we could run one up this way.
Well, you know, you could always ask him to try to use your field and use the Beach Blitz name. He might go for it.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what's coming to my mind? Jay Muncaster has approached us. Am I supposed to say that? I'm not sure.
Well, you know what? I had Jay on 2-3 weeks ago.
I know, I watched it. He did a great job.
Yeah, he was a great. He's such a cool guy.
Yeah, so I think he's putting something in the works. I forgot about that.
All right,
but
well,
yeah.
who knows?
So
Maybe we'll see. Maybe we won't.
I don't want to spoil anything, but you might.
Well, just because until there's flyers printed, nothing is happening until it's happening. That
Okay.
if anybody that knows anything about paintball, flat out knows that there's always talk, there's always gossip, there's always somebody trying to do something, but until the rubber hits the road and the flyers get put up, it's not legit. It's just a rumor, but let's hope something's happening. Now, Gary Jones has asked this a couple times. So where is Wasaga located? Now, he's from New York. So the best way to describe where Wasaga Beach, which is a town which you can check on Google Maps, but while you're here, he's asked a few times, let's tell him.
So we're just over an hour north of Toronto, and we are the world's longest freshwater beach tourist town.
On Georgian Bay, Lake Huron.
Yeah, and it's awesome there. It's such a cool town. Yeah. I haven't been there for a while. I've got some family up there, but
yeah, you need to come back and visit.
Yeah, and you guys always host a really, really big game, which obviously, Will, you're usually the red general. Just curiosity, who's the blue general, or does that vary?
It varies. Zach. Well,
Zach Ionetta, he's been the blue general for a number of years.
That's recent, yeah.
Yeah, Zach Ionetta. Not really online, like you won't see him as a presence online. He's just really good at being a general. So
he's super low key.
He is super low key, but smart. Isn't that right, Will MacDonald? He's a bit
he's an incredible adversary on the field, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So back in the late 90s, early 2000s, Wayne and Jackie Dollett came up and did a big game at our paintball park. At our own location.
I think that was before 2000, because that was one of our first big games was Wayne and Jackie. So that had to be mid 90s, I would say.
Okay.
And then we started doing our own.
Well, then they did too. Then we decided, why can't we do this ourselves? We had Larry and Christine Brownridge. They were awesome.
And Taco.
And Taco. So
then Taco.
But the five of us, we did our own thing. And we ran our big game at our old location. Then we ran our big game at the new location. And then back in 08, we had like 2,000 people in one day at our big game.
It was almost too many people to handle it. It happened. We had several years where we had near that number. We never went over the 2,000 mark, but we were always close to it. For quite a number of years. So
it's been going down for the last 5-6 years, but we're still putting on a great show.
It's going down everywhere, though. I don't know if you noticed, but big games aren't. Paintball in general. There's not nearly as many people participating in the sport of paintball these days. But
I've heard people say that, and I'm not disagreeing per se, but I do know that with NXL, because I've talked to Tom Cole and others, and the actual number of teams that are showing up are actually increasing on tournaments and stuff. Awesome. And with a lot of paintball fields, and I'm not sure about yours, but I know with a lot of paintball fields, they're starting to open up to airsoft players. So you'll have the field running paintball at one time, and then another field you have airsofters. So you've still got the same number, if not more, people coming, but they're not just playing paintball; they're playing different things. And I don't know if that's true or not as well.
Oh well, for us, I'll let Donna tell you the story. But we're doing airsoft, and we're doing 5 other things. So
even more than that, but we definitely our numbers have been up. I would have to say that the numbers are up. They're not anything like they were in the early 2000s for sure. But I'm really hoping there's becoming a resurgence in paintball. But you're right. We have quite a large number of airsofters that show up pretty much every Sunday. And then we also have other activities that we've added to our parks. So we have axe throwing, escape rooms, Nerf wars, laser tag, archery tag.
Climbing wall.
Yeah, climbing wall.
Yeah.
So we do lots of stuff there too. But and we try, I think too, we've been doing our day camp for quite a number of years, and that's where we find, that's where you find these people that are like Will MacDonald or Garrett Baldwin or these guys that they join into the day camp, and then they just love it there, and then they just become of your whole part of your culture at the park, and then take it.
Hook them while they're young.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. You hook them when they're young, and then they stick with you through and through.
Now, so, do you want to be called Willie Mac or Will, or how do you want to be addressed? Because I'm seeing the
Will's fine. Willie
Okay.
Mac is good.
So-
either or.
you started at Wasaga Beach. Now, do you play exclusively at Wasaga Beach, or do you play other places as well?
Oh, I've played all over Ontario. I try and play as many fields as I can, and even last year with a good friend, William Gordon of the OPPA, we got a chance to go and play in field in Quebec. So we got a chance to go and get a real feel of what they thought paintball was, and our hosts were great at Black Ops Paintball, and it was a lot of fun. So I got a chance to try and play multi-province. I've also got a chance to play in the OPL league, as the league that Donna mentioned, run by Derek, and that's a lot of fun as well. The competition's fierce, and yeah, so I got a chance to try and play it from all different flavors and locations, and just love the sport.
Awesome. So with that in mind, now I haven't played that many fields in Ontario in a long time. I actually haven't played anywhere that much in a long time, but I have gone down south to play a lot of different fields in the States as well. And it's been my experience that Wasaga Paintball, it's not like a little home field that I've experienced. It's actually a much better field. And I'm not saying this try to plug you guys, and I'm not asking for money or anything like that, and they're not paying me anybody. I'm just trying to describe the field here, and it's just a much bigger, more professionally. It's different. A lot of smaller fields, which I love small fields, by the way, don't get me wrong. They're very mom and pop, but with Wasaga, they have established buildings and they have established things. Would you agree that it's definitely one of the premier fields that you've been to anywhere, just so that the people around the world watching know what I'm talking about?
I would definitely say yes. Like it's one of the top ones in Ontario for sure. And I'm not saying it because I love the place, or I mean for any like monetary reason or anything.
Right.
Just like this place is an experience, right? So like if you think of what paintball is, other than like causing bruises and welts and that kind of stuff, like tagging your friends, like it's an experience, right?
Right.
It's something that you like. Pain is temporary, but glory is forever. So this is something that you can take with you. And this experience that they offer at Wasaga Beach it's amazing. It's definitely one to have.
Like it's my goal to try to make it out to your big game this year, assuming that it happens. So what now? Is it a big game or is it a scenario game? I have been corrected and slapped on the wrists to be told that a big game doesn't have special stuff. It's just two sides smashing against each other. But a scenario game that has stories and whatnot. So is this a scenario or is this a big game?
This would be with that definitive use of either term, then it would be a scenario game.
Okay.
But a large volume of people come to play this scenario game, and when you come to a game like this, like there's like the casual folks, and then the people that are like really hardcore and into it and want to follow like the story and stuff. So you get a good mix of people, but a lot of people are just like, okay, there's so many guys over there, let's just charge them. Like, so you end up getting that head to head stuff anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
No. So what's the story about? Because I haven't been there and I can't wait. Plus, for all my American listeners, I just wanted to make sure I said the word about a few times.
Well, it changes every year. So this year, it's called Otter Things. So do you want to tell them about that, Will? Do you know what this scenario is?
Unfortunately, I haven't really a chance to look at that in my private life. I'm studying to be a pharmacist, and right now I'm just finishing my technician's license. So with COVID-19, like I don't get really any days off. It's really it's a tiring thing. So like it steals my focus, and unfortunately that's kind of where that's been. And like as a matter of fact, like I rushed home from work, and then I found out my internet was down and there's nothing I could do, so I had to rush to the nearest Tim Hortons so I could have some like reasonable Wi-Fi. I'm even still have my handy dandy dress shirt still on, so yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, I'll fill them in then. So it's this year. It's called Otter Things. We change it every 2 years. So we pick a scenario, and then we run that for 1 year, and then we do the same scenario, but we flip sides, and change up the story a little bit. So 1 year, like our last event was called Hostile Revenge or Hostile Takeover, and the next one was Hostile Revenge. So this one's called Otter Things.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the next one will be, but it'll follow along the same storyline, which is if you've watched on Netflix Stranger Things, and so that we're going along that line. So we will have a town of Hawkins, we'll have the science lab, we'll have the portal, we'll have the mind flare. So all of that kind of stuff will be happening, and they'll have their different jobs that they'll have to do. There's a whole storyline that goes along with it. And
okay. So that means if I show up, I actually have to watch Stranger Things. I've actually, I'll be honest, not to jump off topic, but I put on Stranger Things. I watched about 30 minutes of the first episode and went, nope. Oh. Not interested. And I know everybody out there loves it and they think it's fantastic. I just have no interest. But if you guys are doing a scenario game about it, that means I have to watch it now. Because if I'm going to play, I got to know.
And once you get into it, like really, I was the same. The first 30 minutes, I was like, what is this? The kids were watching it. And I was like, this looks corny. And then before I knew it, I was like, what? Yeah, so you got to watch it, but it's going to be fun. But you don't really have to know what's going on either. You can just go up to
and shoot people.
Well, you can even go to the director's table and go, what do you do? And they'll tell you what to do with your points, right? Or go to your general and say, okay, what do you need me to do? Yep. So you don't have to know the scenario at all, but it certainly makes it fun. Last year we had a portal that had smoke coming out of it and lights and sound. It was like a living, breathing portal, which was kind of cool. We like to do a little bit of sci-fi, have fun too. There's always something funny going on. Like you're going to have to capture somebody that's in costume and they're going to be doing weird things. Or, we like the technology stuff. You might have to put, a bomb together and place it on something, or you might have to dig for something. There's always kind of fun, unique things that are happening. And we have free corn. You always get to them through their belly.
Corn. I completely forgot you guys did that. That's like one of the best things because you guys do the corn, like the big corn roast.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I've been to so many fields in the past where they're saying it's free food. I'm like, but you guys always did the corn. It's just like, yes. Yeah.
So now we add a pig roast on Friday night, and it's an amazing. A local farmer, they raise these pigs. We bring the barbecues in. We do this big, amazing. We have to cook 2 big pigs and salads along with it. So we do that on the Friday night.
That's awesome.
Vendor show.
Yeah, we've got all the vendors are there. We've got challenges there. So we have the Tipex challenge. We have a First Strike Action challenge, and then we have the Eclipse Fastest Gun in the North challenge too. And so you can win some prizes for those. And then we have our big, huge giveaway on the Saturday. Yeah, free corn, Gary. You're our kind of guy. Free corn.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
Have you been to our new field, right?
I believe so, but I'm not entirely sure. I know that I was playing, and then my dad passed away in 99, 2000, or 99, and then I took a step back from paintball a little bit because let's just say I was a very angry person, and I know that I went out and played a couple times after he passed away, and I put hatred into the game. And I know that sounds weird, but as you all know, and everybody watching knows, when you play paintball, it's a very emotional experience. You charge right up. But I had so much anger in me at the time. I was hurting people. Like I was that tournament guy that walked out on the field and beat up on people that weren't playing properly. And a good friend of mine grabbed me by the collar and like, that's not you. What the hell are you doing? So I set my guns down for a little bit and I walked away. And then I got engaged and I was living with my ex-wife at the time. And I hadn't played for a bit, and you guys had a big game. And so myself and my buddy Jimmy went out and we drove out to play paintball at your field. And nothing against your field. My head wasn't in it. So we got out there. And I'm pretty sure it was at your new field. And I burned through a case of paint like it was nothing. And I was paying full price at the time. I think it was like 120 a case or something. I forget what it was. But I burned through everything so fast. I was a tournament player. I didn't feel like I was being challenged. And I was just in a bad headspace. And that's not you guys. That was me. And Jimmy just looked at me and goes, Steve, you're not having any fun, are you? And I'm like, no, I'm really not. And he goes, okay, let's get going. And that was the last time I played paintball for a while until I started playing a few years ago at Trevor Van Dorster's field, Combat Pursuit, which is a little tiny little field just north of Pickering. And I love playing there, by the way. Like it's just this tiny little place, and it's Mom and Pop, and everybody knows each other, and it's just fun, and it's cool, and it's close. And I really like that atmosphere, and I can really relax there. So as much as I love your field, and I plan on being there as much as humanly possible, you got to stay where you're close too, right? Because you're like 2-3 hours away from me.
Yeah.
So I think I've been to your new field, but truthfully, I wasn't really in the right headspace to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, basically, I'm thinking if you've been to our new field, you would remember, because we built this 25,000 square foot building. I think it's unforgettable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because you actually had a little indoor sand field and stuff like that, right?
It was 150 by 120. It wasn't little.
Yeah, well,
20,000 square feet.
all right. I consider my butt smacked. So, but no, I have nothing but positive memories of going out to your events and talking with you people and everything like that. What do you mean, you people? Talking with you all. Sorry, you have to be a Canadian to understand the you people joke. It's a John Cherry thing. If you don't know, Google is your friend.
Yeah.
But I have nothing but positive memories and experiences at Wasaga Paintball, with the exception of the last time. But that wasn't you, and that wasn't the effort that you guys put out. Everything was fantastic. I just wasn't in the headset. And I think everybody, I mean, even Will, you'll back me up on this because you've been playing forever. There comes point in times where you just, it's not, maybe it's burnout, maybe it's whatever, but it's just, you don't want to be there. As much as you love the sport, you just got to take a break, like any relationship, I guess.
Yeah, like if you have like when personal things that hit really close to home, like and you just can't solve them right away, start digging at you. Yeah, like you may need to not bring that type of emotion, because like you do get charged in this sport, and and if you come into it like in a negative mind space, like you might just like protrude more of that, and then it becomes amplified, right? And that's not like what we want to be doing in our sport. We want to be like bringing like positive emotions, right? And like showing like why this is so much fun. So.
Exactly. So I didn't want to talk about my last experience at your field, because it has nothing to do with you, and it has everything to do with me, because you guys do a fantastic, and I was so excited to have you guys on. So please.
Well, maybe this August, then we can make new memories, which will be fantastic.
Yes.
Let's hope that happens, because we are putting a lot of effort into the game. So we really hope that everything is happening. And
so what days in August is it scheduled for?
So it's August 14th and 15th.
14th and 15th. Okay.
Yeah. So it's the Friday night and the Saturday, and then hopefully things are open up. But I mean, who knows? Things may be open, but they may not be allowing large gatherings, right? They may be restricting the numbers. So if they do that, then we'll probably, yeah, I know, but you know, we don't want to run it if it's just a smaller number, because it's a huge investment for us too, to make a game that elaborate. So so yeah, we may postpone but we'll just wait and see what the government has to say. But for right now, the big game is on for August. So
nice.
Maybe we should talk how we had to cancel Feed the Needy.
Yeah, so we did we postponed Frosties, which I'm gonna have to postpone again, and I think we're gonna postpone it to November. But yeah.
Wait, you postponed Frosties?
Yeah, Frosties was in our winter big game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that one is less of a scenario. It's really just a winter big game.
Okay.
It's winter versus summer, and it's always a fun time. That was
grind it out.
So March 5th or March 21st it was supposed to be, but I think we keep pushing it. So I actually think I might push it to November now, November 1st, and it'll be winter versus summer again. I'll see if summer.
Now, are you guys open all year long? Like, because you have the building, you can play indoors. Is there indoor games then as well?
No, so we don't do indoor paintball anymore because it just,
boo.
I know, but sometimes we can't even get there. I mean, the winter in Northern Ontario, right? So to heat it was 1 year, it was $10,000 just to heat it. So we don't do indoor anymore, but
we do storage.
We do storage in there. But what we do is
I like storage.
We run from we do our first walk-on game the first weekend in March, and we go all the way until the end of December. And then we shut down walk-ons for January, February, but we're still open for private bookings. So we still do paintball all year around. We get a lot of ski resorts that are nearby. They bring their ski camps. And so we get
that's cool.
Yeah, 3 different resorts come quite regularly. And then we might get some church groups or some work parties or whatever. So we are open all year round, but not open for walk-ons.
So if you have a private party, there's no possible way, if I was to make my way out, I could just sort of walk onto the field and join everybody, even if I used rentals?
No way.
Boo.
Well, if you got to know them, maybe they'd let you, but yeah. So that was our big game that we canceled, was March 21st, and then we've postponing. Then we just canceled altogether the Feed the Needy event, which made me so sad, because we had spent so many years supporting this feeding program, and they still rely on it, but we just, no one came to the event. So raising money for it obviously is a little different.
Right. Yeah. So one of the reasons why we were late getting on, everybody that's watching, is Steve and Donna were nice enough to give me some pictures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some pictures up, and they're going to block everybody out. But everybody's gonna be able to hear what you have to say. So maybe you can tell me a little bit about these pictures. So this is the first one that you sent me.
Okay, so this is my daughter and I, and these are some friends of ours in the village. And so this family here, actually, we sponsored one of the girls to go to school, and their parents kind of disappeared. So we were helping her to get through school. So maybe go to the next one.
Okay, so the next picture. So this is the next picture I have.
Yeah, so take a look in the background of this one. That's Steve and I, and then also another friend of ours in the village. But you'll see. I'm
the guy with the hand.
See in the background here. So what happened was, way back in 2002, we were just on a family vacation, and that's when we were staying in what we thought was a bed and breakfast. And in this bed and breakfast, I'm going to put that in quotes, when air quotes, bed and breakfast, when we were in this bed and breakfast, the lady that ran it, she said, well, why don't you come with us and see what we do around here? And so we said, sure. So we came with her. We ended up going to the dump and feeding the people lunch in the dump. And that's when I looked to Steve and I said, okay, this is not a bed and breakfast. Okay. I don't know what we're doing here.
So the people were at the dump, they were scrounging through the dump looking for usable stuff.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right. They were looking for food that the resorts had thrown out. They were looking for usable things that they could resell or make into something.
right.
And so at that time, this lady who turns out that she hosted missionary teams to come in and to help out. So she introduced me to this lady, Maria, and she said, Maria would like to get married, but there's no way she can afford it. You know, she can't afford any of the papers she needs. She can't afford a ring, a dress.
Right.
And I said, well, what if I brought a dress? Does that help you? And she said, you can bring me a dress? I said, oh my word, every woman in North America has a wedding dress in their closet, I think. So I came home and I started talking to people and I started collecting dresses. Went back down a couple of months later and brought some family members and a friend. And this woman, her name was Jana, she took me all over the place that week and I saw the most horrendous things. And we were broken at the end of the week. We said, how do you go home? How do you live a normal life now that I've seen all these things? I can't.
Right.
I'm broken, right?
Was that like 2001?
That was 2002. So then we came home and we started talking to lots of people. So we started going to churches. We started going to Rotary clubs, Kiwanis, whoever would listen to me. I would go and I would take my pictures and take my stories and tell them of the great need of these people. And these people that I had met, they were from Haiti and they had come over to work on the sugarcane fields, and which was not a good job, but it was better than what was in Haiti. But they were getting paid $2 a day. They lived in these little cement shacks, like cement little block houses. Many of them all in one room, and the people had a lot of disease, starvation, like skin infections and machete wounds, just not good situation at all.
Right.
So we came back with a lot of money. We were able to raise a lot of money. And we started building a village. My friend, who had become my friend Jana, the woman that we had first met, while I was busy raising money during that time, she had received some inheritance and she bought some land. So she said, let's build a village. So that's exactly what we did. We put our money towards a water system. We started building houses. And over time, we built an entire village with the help of others, because more people were hearing about this.
Right.
That they were donating money or they were bringing their own teams of people down. We were bringing teams of people down to actually do the work, build the houses, and be with the people. So then in 2006, a lovely English couple came and started a feeding program within that village. And because there was still a great need, that they now had housing, and we were bringing in a doctor to come to. We built a medical clinic and a school and a church and a store in the village. So we were working towards that. Our end goal was really sustainability for these people, and education we felt was the way to go for that. But you can't educate someone who's hungry and sick, right?
No, correct.
So we had to deal with those basic needs first. So the feeding program started in 2006, and we thought, well, how can we support this feeding program? So that's when we started our Feed the Needy event, which happens in the spring. And so we decided we would take all the paint profits from that day, and we would donate it to the feeding program and to the village. So really kind of cool.
And 1 year was like 10 grand.
Oh, 1 year, like a couple of years, actually, like in the glory days of when there was hundreds of people coming out to this event. We raised $12,000 in one day for this feeding program. So
that's wicked.
It's pretty cool. Now, 1 year, this is a really neat story. 1 year,
The truck's right
they
there.
called us and said, our truck broke down. We can't get the food. We can't get across the river because they had to go through this river. So you need a certain vehicle. The roads were awful there,
Right.
not at all. And so they said, we can't even go get the food because we don't have a vehicle. And they said, we found a vehicle that's perfect, but it's $9,000. She said, do you have $9,000? And I was like, guess how much money we raised this year? $9,000. So we're able to hand over the $9,000, and she bought the truck, and the feeding program was back up and running. So
That's
very,
wicked.
yeah.
Now
So
we got 3 more pictures here. There's
Oh, yes.
this one.
Oh yes. Okay. So this is in front of this is the feeding clinic right here behind us. And it keeps changing colors because the paint never lasts there, so they have to repaint it. But
Right.
you can see some people going in there.
Right.
And this young man actually is in the education program that we have. We are also involved in. There's an education program for post-secondary school. So he's quite a bright young man. He started an internet cafe in the village.
Oh, cool.
I know.
All right.
Isn't that cool?
That's awesome. So he can watch my podcast.
That's right. So he's heading off to college and taking a course in college. So that's
awesome.
Cool.
All right. So we have this picture.
All right. That's my favorite picture.
That is some cute little kids in the village. And so they're in their little school uniforms there.
Right.
And really education is the solution to this problem. So we built a school there and got the kids into the school, and then we were able to secure a truck to get the high school students to the next village to go to high school. And now we've got kids that are heading off to post-secondary school. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, now we have one last picture. And this is the one you sent with, I guess that's the room where they feed everything. Oh, I see the Canadian flag in the background. That's cool.
Yeah, because there was some Canadians that took over from the English couple. He got sick. He had a stroke, actually. So then there was
that's too bad.
From Alberta that took over the program. So this is the feeding program, and you can see in their bowls there, it's pretty simple. Like they get beans and rice, and sometimes they'll get a meat as well, chicken or a beef or something.
Right.
And some water. So they come in, they have a couple of sittings of the younger kids, and then they'll have some of the older kids, and then they have for seniors as well. So
awesome.
So we want to support that program, but of course we didn't have our event this year. So if people do want to contribute to that, so far we've raised just over $600, and the event was supposed to be this Saturday. So we're hoping more people will think about giving. So what they're doing in Dominican with the COVID-19, I just was talking to Jana actually on the email there. So she was telling me that Dominican has been hit pretty hard. And I'm not surprised because they are in very close quarters, right? Everybody is fairly close to each other.
Right.
And actually Bikini Bob goes down to Dominican a lot, and so does Jeff Fowler. So those guys know what I'm talking about. And Jeff wasn't able to go, I hear, but this year. But anyways, the government is helping with some feeding programs, but obviously there's not enough to go around. And there's just not enough. There's enough food on the island for sure, but just, logistics wise, whatever. So we have people there on the ground that are still in the country working. So they've told us for $14 will get a bag for 5 people that will last for 5 days. So if anybody out there has $14 and they want to donate to Feed the Needy, that will give a family of 5 for 5 days. So
it's super easy.
Yeah,
Even
super
I could
easy.
do it.
Super easy to donate, and we have so much. I mean, the government here has taken such good care of us in these times.
Right.
For sure. And we do have so much that it would be nice to share. But I'd like to raise at least $1,000. If I could make 2, that would make me super happy.
You know what? Anything?
Away.
Pardon?
Click, click, click.
Yeah.
Click away.
Well, I put a link. I don't know if you can see it, but I know you can see it. But I put a link down below that takes to your page, and you said that there's a link on how to donate through your page there.
Yeah. So if you go to the events page, and if you click on Feed the Needy, you can see a donate now, and it takes you right to Spearway, which is the donation place. So you actually get a receipt for income taxes, and it just goes directly to that Spearway account. It goes right to the village. Like it's like you don't have to worry. It's going where it needs to go. And I talk regularly down there with them and how things are going and if they've received the funds and all of that stuff. So you can count on us that it's getting there. Yeah, lockdown curfew at 5, strict. You're right.
I think that's Bobby talking, but I'm not sure because he didn't click on it to show his name.
Right. Well, it could be.
Is this in Dominican?
Yeah, there is a curfew in the Dominican. They're locked down at 5. Yeah, can't go anywhere.
That's insane.
Well, and it'd be dangerous too because in desperate times, people do desperate things. But.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, well, we talked all about the field, which was awesome. We got to meet the Red General, who's sitting there patiently and quietly going, I'm in my car. You guys forgotten about me. I haven't forgotten about you, dude. You contribute just radiating awesomeness by being here, just so you know.
Actually, you've got to get to know Willie Mac a little better. He's a really amazing person. And I think, so Willie, you've working on your presence, your internet presence. Have you been more? Are you?
So I've been kind of working a little bit in the background, trying to get a lot of things organized, and my laptop is not functioning nearly as well as it should. So, but that's going to change around really soon. I've got some friends who are very computer literate. They're going to help me build a nice rig so I can actually start editing instead of like opening the program and then it's like, you can have lunch and come back and then everything's kind of stable. So. Nobody likes looking at the loading screen. So yeah, so this will turn things around, and then I'll be able to start uploading a lot of fun footage. Like I've got footage from so many events that I've played, not only at Wasaga Beach, but at like a lot variety of fields in all over Ontario and Quebec. So it's just a matter of having the appropriate tools to be able to bring this for everyone to enjoy. So
awesome. And also, Will is a man of characters, so this will be something worthwhile to watch. He's a man of good character.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, we are almost at an hour, and I know, Steve, you need to do your thing, so I should let you guys go. But thank you so much for being on live. Oh, actually, before I go, is there anything, buddy, you want to give a shout out to, or anybody you want to mention before we go? Because we've covered.
But let's clarify one thing first too, because some people may not know, and they're watching Steve on this show. Is in 2008, Steve had a dirt bike accident and was in a coma for 3 weeks and in the hospital for 5 months. So when Steve McGuire says Steve's got to do his thing, it's his bedtime. From his brain injury.
Well, yeah, but I want to be polite. You know what I mean? But I mean, I'm so glad to be able to see you, Steve, and see that you've been on, because I mean, we were never the best of friends, but you were always super cool. It's just when I'd show up on the field, you always made sure that you took the time to to talk with everybody. Like there's a lot of times when you go out to a big game or a tournament or whatever, and you try to talk to the people behind, and they're so busy, they're like, yeah, and they dismiss you. And I never felt dismissed. And every time I'd show up, you guys always made sure that you took the time to be polite. Now, you didn't spend a long time because you are busy, but we were never dismissed, and I always appreciated that about the two of you the most.
Nice.
Well, I'm not much of a talker anymore. I'm still a pretty good doer though, but I'm not a big talker.
Right.
So Donna, she does the talking for me. I'm just a good looks.
Right. Fair enough.
But we're happy he could even talk because he had a diffuse axonal injury, and the statistics on that are 90% of them don't even wake up from their coma, and the other 10% live a life in a vegetative state. So God was pretty good to us, answered a lot of prayers.
That was a miracle.
Yeah, he's a walking miracle. So we're glad to have him around, and everything he wants to say, that's good with us.
So now I have a plate that says Captain Fun. Now I'm Captain Clean because I like to keep things clean. The field looks so clean now. I'm kind of liking this nobody around. I can have everything looking great over there.
Nobody messes it up on him.
That's awesome. Gary says, later, Gators. Later, Gary. Thanks for hanging out with us.
See ya. All right. Well, thanks for having us.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to end the broadcast. And to everybody out there watching, keep your paintballs dry and pay with passion, everybody. Thank you all. Bye now.
Bye.
All right.